Here we go then. The Woodpecker Stages marks the penultimate round in the Pirelli Welsh Rally Championship calendar. And of course, those battles were still yet to be decided out on the stages. Over the morning run of these brilliant stages then, it would be the lead for Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy. As always, it would be close though, just 4 seconds the advantage in that lead after 2 stages. That lead at this stage will be over Scott Faulkner and Gareth Parry, the pair battling hard for the class and the overall leaderboards, and close behind Thompson this morning. Graham Middleton and Steve McPhee mark a welcome return to the stages after a few rounds away, back out in that Mitsubishi Mirage and clearly getting to grips with it well. 3rd place overall for now. And something else that we've come to expect this season, a giant killing performance once again, so far from Callum Black and Michael Gilby, leading the way in the W3 class at this stage, only 7 seconds back from Middleton up ahead. Just let that sink in. And it was a good start as well for Tom Llewellyn and Perida Davies. They lead the way in the W6 class in the Escort. They were actually on an identical time overall to Black up ahead as well. Things looking pretty close so far then. 2nd in the class behind Llewellyn were Andy Davison and Tom Murphy. That victory last time out in the class had helped with some good points and surely the confidence as well. But they'd still be a little way back as far as the championship standings were concerned after missing a few rounds this season. Of course, you have to be in it to win it, and for Rudy Lancaster and Guy Weaver, never a truer thing was said. 3rd place in the class, only their 3rd time out this season, so they were just going for overall results and not worrying too much about being in it to win it or about those championship points either. Chris Powell and Jim Lewis make a good start in the W3 class, out in the trusty Sunbeam once again and lying in 8th place overall, 2nd in the class. John Perrott and Andrew Sankey, meanwhile, would be another of our historic crews, only out a handful of times so far this season. They end the morning in a strong 9th place overall, 4th in the class. And rounding out the top 10 would be Richard Goff and Johnny Tad Evans. Richard, a former winner of the event on a couple of occasions and going well once again this weekend. Let's take a look then, as we like to do here in the Pirelli Welsh Rally Championship, at some of the positions outside of that top 10 leaderboard. And it would be the W12 class lead for Andrew and Jamie Lee Fox. They lead the way, in fact, in the class from 12th place overall. And just behind them on the leaderboard would be this man, Colin Griffiths, Tom Bishop alongside, 2nd in the class and in 13th place overall. And when we say just behind, we really mean it. Only a single second separating this class battle at this stage in the rally. Werg Utting and Bob Stocko will be a little further back on the overall leaderboard than they would have liked at this stage. They lie 3rd in the N4 class, but they are back in 15th overall with plenty of fight left in them, surely for the rest of the day. For Steve Black and Paul Morris, that would mean 3rd in the W3 class. Not quite chasing down our leaders in that class, but still a pretty good performance so far. And Josh Taylor and Heather Merrison make a great start in the W13 class, leading the way there and with a bit of an advantage in that position too. But there's no such thing as a comfort margin out on these stages. In Class W12, it will be 3rd for Kevin Metcalf and Lewis Griffiths. 40 seconds back from that class battle up ahead and a few positions down so far on the overall results. There would be just the 2 crews out in the N3 class for us to keep our eyes on this weekend, so taking the lead there will be Zach Hughes and Tom Wood. Local event for Zach, so a good result would be welcomed, a good points haul even more so. We switch back though to the W13 class, where it will be 2nd place in the class for Keith Gapper and Jordan Wilkinson. The Subaru pair in 23rd place on the leaderboard as well. Once again, we see Howell Davies and Simon Jones leading the way in the W5 class. No problems to report for the pair. They open up a big lead in 24th overall. And in W4, it would be the lead for this man, Martin Walters. Co-driving for him, Marie Fletcher. The Civic pair taking the class lead over the morning stages by just 5 seconds. So close today on the Woodpecker stages. It was anyone's rally in a number of instances across the classes. Second in that class, in fact, and chasing the Civic pair down would be Damien Thomas and Paul Bevan. The Peugeot pair enjoying that close fight so far this morning. We saw Zach Hughes and Tom Wood a little earlier in the lead of the N3 class. Steve Allman-Smith and Matt Daniels here couldn't quite challenge for that lead, but they were having a good run in the Fiesta. Steve Dealey and Alan Proudman will be holding on to third in the W4 class. The pair around a minute back from our class leaders now. And rounding out the class results after the morning stages would be Ken Davies and Alan Jones, second in W5 in that glorious Volvo Amazon. So with the morning stages complete here in the Pirelli Welsh Rally Championship, the results at the top here on the Woodpecker stages are starting to shape up. On to the afternoon stages then here at the Woodpecker Rally, of course, based in Ludlow. There will be no change in the results for Ken Davies and Alan Jones, second in the W5 class for the pair here at the penultimate round of the Pirelli Welsh Rally Championship. And indeed, no change either for Steve Dealey and Alan Proudman from those leaderboards this morning. Third place in the W4 class for the pair this weekend. There would, though, be some change to second in that class. Tony Simpson and Ian Bevan responsible for that, now stepping up to take that position. The pair had lost a lot of time with a puncture earlier in the day. This afternoon, though, the fight back was on. Onto the N3 class, and things would remain how they were this morning. Steve Allman-Smith and Matt Daniels ending the event second in the class. It would be a great weekend, meanwhile, for Martin Walters and Marie Fletcher, the Civic pairing, taking the class victory, their third of the season, and some good points towards their championship campaign. And with only one round to go, that is pretty important. In the W3 class, there'd be a bit of change as well. We see Dominic Hodge and Stefan Arndt ending the rally with second place in that class in the Micra. This would be at the loss of Chris Powell, sadly retiring in that Sunbeam in the third stage of the day. For Keith Gapper and Jordan Wilkinson, it would be second in the W13 class to end the rally. A strong result for the Subaru pair here in Shropshire. And it was another W5 class victory for Howell Davies and Simon Jones. A good end to the rally, their sixth class victory of the season. A perfect score for the rallies that they'd been out on. And as we saw from Steve Allman-Smith's result, no problems for Zach Hughes and Tom Wood. The pair going on to take the N3 class victory with a strong performance, ending the event in a dominant place in the class, but with 17th place overall as well. For Kevin Metcalf and Lewis Griffiths, it will be third in W12. No change for the pair over the afternoon stages of the rally. And no change either for Josh Taylor and Heather Merrison. Everything going well out there on the Woodpecker stages. The pair take the W13 class victory home this weekend. The loss of Chris Powell and Jim Lewis in that Sunbeam would have some knock-on results. One of them was seeing Steve Black and Paul Morris stepping up to the class results to end the event, with second in the W3 class in that wide-body Suzuki Swift this weekend. We're on to the top 10 then here at the Woodpecker stages, and it will be second in the W12 class for Colin Griffiths and Tom Bishop. Unable to overhaul the class win this weekend, but crucially staying within 5 seconds of the class lead. It's almost close enough to be in the rearview mirror. And that class lead, and indeed that rearview mirror, would still be in the hands of Andrew and Jamie Lee Fox. Victory for the pair, who also take 9th overall in the BMW. Werg Utting and Bob Stucco climb up the overall leaderboard a little, getting a bit closer to where they would have wanted to have been in the first place. 8th place to end the rally, 3rd in the N4 class. And there will be celebrations for Richard Goff and Johnny Tad Evans, 3rd in W6, and they also move up to take 7th place on the overall leaderboard as well in that stunning looking Escort. No change in the class though for Callum Black and Michael Gilby. They take a commanding victory in W3 here on the Woodpecker. They do slip a few places on the overall results though, ending the rally with 6th place. But with that competition and the machinery around them, you couldn't have expected anything more, surely. For Andy Davison and Tom Murphy, it would be 5th. They end the rally with 2nd in the W6 class as well. Another strong result after their good finish on the Nicky Grist stages last time out. For Tom Llewellyn and Perida Davies, it was time to crack open the champagne. It was the W6 class victory. A great end to the event for the pair, just outside our podium places in 4th. The points from this round, enough to give them a good chance of a top overall championship result this season as well, with just 1 round to go. Onto those podium places, and here at the penultimate round, they are all important, aren't they? There wouldn't be any change though. Graham Middleton and Steve McPhee holding on to that 3rd place overall this weekend in the Mirage. Scott Faulkner and Gareth Parry keep on pushing, but it would be 2nd. They end the rally with that position after a good close battle all event long with our rally leaders. And of course, rally leaders turn into rally victors. It was victory here this weekend for Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy. Dominant from the outset, but not without challenge. Maximum points from this round and taking their 2nd victory in a row. So there we go then. What a close fight throughout the leaderboards. Confirmation of the final results at the end of the penultimate round of the Pirelli Welsh Rally Championship for 2019. Next up, the crews head to the Forest of Dean for the Wydene Rally and a battle to see who will take that title for 2019.